For a second, I thought you were going to say I've had really good conversations with dogs that I found intelligent.
I don't find them to be good conversationalists.
No, me neither.
I think they're very lacking when it comes to a good chat.
Yeah, they are.
All right.
Alrighty. Let me just go to our little notes.
Am I doing the intro today?
No.
Oh, man. You're not a good dictator.
Good. Hi, this is William.
Uh-huh. And Scout.
From Hypermentilating.
I see we haven't been working on our imitations. The podcast.
A show that follows life and change through the eyes of a father and daughter. Join us as we find our way together.
All right. You're taking that right into the ground, eh?
Yeah.
All right. Yes. Yes. As we find our way together. Joyously, happily, always on a cloud of goodness. No, that's not true.
Yeah. Okay, so for our first topic of the day, we have a rather controversial one. So, what happens with things like Coraline, where the author is...
potentially a scumbag.
Yeah.
That's the technical wording. I thought that I would,
Yeah.
use the specific technical terms.
Yeah.
Scumbag.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. Like, it's not going to change my point of view from one of my favorite books and one of my favorite movies. But...
nor should it.
It definitely gives me another point of view on how we never know what a kind of person an author could be. Just because they're famous or because they make something that we like doesn't mean that they're...
And we're being very careful here not to be slanderous or libelous either. Like, it's just accusations and they might be unfounded, but it very much seems like when they get up to this kind of a number that it's like, oh, really? This guy too? And unfortunately, it's almost invariably a guy from my point of view. It's just... it's so sad, man. It's such a shame. Mm-hmm. Because this dude's prolific. Like, he's written quite a few really, really cool things. Not just books, but comics. And, like, he's been responsible for a lot of super imaginative contributions to writing and to that kind of, that world. And
well, you know how if you listen to a podcast or you watch a movie or a show and you find out that an actor has different point of views on politics as you, or is kind of has, things that could be wrong.
Or not even wrong. You made a really good point there right at the start. Like, just they might have a point of view that's not necessarily right or wrong. It's just a point of view that you find unappealing. And so...
yeah, and you would like to say to yourself, it's not going to change my point of view on the person or the show. But there's definitely a part of you that is never going to kind of look at the show or the movie the same. But for me, with Coraline, it has impacted my life so much, the movie specifically, that it's just not going to...
Well, I think you bring up a place to delineate, though, too, right? Between the two different forms of entertainment. Like, it's writing, and then if it's a movie star, I mean, they are the product. Like, they're the thing that appeals to you. Their mannerisms, the way they look, the way they laugh, the way they present the words. So if you find them unappealing in their personal life, then that very much will affect how you see the movie. Mm-hmm. But that's the difference with the writer, isn't it? Like, I don't know anything about William Shakespeare. I don't know anything about John Steinbeck, really. I mean, I know some things that you read, but any author that you really like, you don't. Remember J.K. Rowling. She came out with opinions that a lot of people found unpleasant. And so all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I mean, but what's that got to do with the writing?
Yeah,
and I'm not saying it doesn't have anything to do with it either, right? But, yeah,
I mean, okay, for me, maybe I won't ever be able to read the book the same way again.
See, that's a shame.
But the movie, I don't relate the movie to Neil Gaiman. I relate the movie to the creator, the person that did the stop motion, the voice actors. That's what I relate it to.
Yeah.
I'll read Coraline again. But I definitely, something in the back of my mind will always be like, man, like really,
okay, so
him out of everyone.
Yeah, so that's a shame. Like, so that's answering partly the question: what happens when the creator turns out to be, a crappy person, a scumbag? Yeah, then it does have an effect. You're saying, I don't know. For me, I'm trying to think of somebody that, Atlas Shrugged.
Oh yeah.
Ayn Rand is, and she's hugely controversial, like in so many respects. It's a whole thing, right?
Okay,
but a lot of it's just goofy and means nothing as far as I'm concerned. But that's how I can look at it. I can separate it as like, you know what? I didn't read the book to get an understanding of her. So I think I could read a book written by somebody and separate, like, okay, this is a story being woven, and it's a really good story, and it's well thought out, and it's well constructed, and it's well written. I don't know that it would matter to me to a certain extent, but then I'm not reading Mein Kampf, right? I'm not like trying to see, Hitler may, like, I'm not, that's not what we're doing here. We're talking about somebody who's been
a children's book.
Yeah, who's been part of the fabric of a lot of people's lives for decades, right? Like, and now it's turning out that he's not.
I mean, I've read that book in English, Spanish, comic version.
Yeah, no, I know.
And I've seen the movie. So, I mean, that book had a huge impact on me. Just in the way I saw movies, in the way that I took movies in, and the way I read books. So, like, it's a shame.
So, you're saying you wouldn't read it, it would impact you reading it again, but it doesn't impact all of what you just said. Like, everything that you just said still holds.
Yeah.
You still were shaped by that book in some way. So I guess what I'm getting at is that you weren't shaped by the person, the author, the person. You were shaped by the writings of the person.
Yeah.
And to me, I think in a way they're distinctly different. It's the idea of, like, you always hear a musician say that the music just comes from somewhere else and they're just the vessel. It comes through them, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's an element of that. Maybe it's because I want that to be true, because, when something is really well done and impactful, I don't want it to be just dismissed because it turns out that the creator is not what we would like him or her to be. Yeah,
like, it won't ever change my point of view on how I look at the book and how I think of the book, because that book means so much to me.
Yeah.
But it'll affect the way that I think of him.
Oh, right.
Because when I first read it, I was like, holy crap, Neil Gaiman. Like,
yeah.
Neil Gaiman is this amazing person and this author, and I just want to read everything he's ever written.
Yeah, it'd be cool to meet him and to see how he came up with it. So now it's definitely
I want to have a conversation with him. Now I want nothing to do with him. I don't ever want to have a conversation with him.
A universal restraining order, especially around him. Yeah.
But that being said, that book will always be one of my favorite books.
All right. So what are we saying? That there's like, for me, I'm saying that I don't feel like it affects my appreciation of something that I've already read and already established an appreciation for. I would never read anything of his again, probably, because I would feel, not probably, for sure, because I'd feel like I was supporting something that's not supportable. But I don't think it would impact something I've already read. I've already decided on the work. Because I never was deciding on him when I was reading the book. Whenever I'm reading a book, the author is not a consideration for me. It's just the story being told. If I like the story, then I'll pursue more books by that author. But the author, I am not thinking about, I wonder what the author does for fun, or I don't care.
Not for me, because with this book, Neil Gaiman was like...
you were really invested in him. Well, it would affect you then. It would definitely affect your
I'll never read anything of his again unless it's Coraline. Like, I just won't...
Oh, same here.
I won't feed into that, because if the allegations are true,
Well, and that's the thing too, right? You can't. It's a shame because there's no way you could recommend it. Okay, that's a different angle slant on it, right? Like you couldn't recommend it. I couldn't, in God conscious, say to somebody, "Oh, you should read this book. It's amazing," and then they'll be like, "Isn't that guy? Yeah, don't worry about that." Well, no, you got to worry about that.
Exactly.
So that would sort of end the book there, as far as I'm concerned. Like there would be no way of encouraging somebody else to read it.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's where I am. So then.
Me too.
All right.
Okay. Our next conversation, I'm going to let you kickstart because I don't really know what to say, but once you start talking, I'll be able to add to it.
All right. Fair enough.
Who decides what the robot decides?
Yeah.
Care to?
Yeah, we're heading pell-mell into a time when robots are taking over more and more decision making.
Yeah.
The biggest example is cars.
Airplanes.
Airplanes. They're. So I say robot as a euphemism for the algorithm, for anything
AI.
that's being anything that's being commanded by a computer.
Coded or
Yeah, because soon enough we'll have robots that actually are real robots, and that's just gonna
movie robots.
That'll be a whole other level of freaky when they're making decisions. So all of them have to be programmed. So somebody, especially in the case of the car's deciding. Like for example, if a car, the LiDAR or the cameras or whatever system's being used to see the surroundings, to know to make what decisions, slow down, speed up, turn left, turn right, swerve, go into a skid, whatever the decision might be, somebody has to program it for concepts such as, well, there's a dog in the path, and then there's a person pushing a baby carriage. One of them, you have an emergency situation where you have to make a quick decision, that kind of thing, like real life-threatening decisions, because cars are life-threatening vehicles. So who decides what the robot decides? Who's programming that to, like, okay, here's the scenario, here's what you're going to do? Because somebody has to be. Otherwise, if we're leaving it up to the robot will 100% just make a decision based on well, I don't even know in that case. Because how would the robot know the value? Okay, the dog has this value. The person with pushing the baby has this value. Like who... So you get what I'm getting at. Yeah,
like, okay, well, there's an example going around on the internet right now. What I would do if my partner chose me over the baby during birth or something like that. And what would the robot do, Like, how would the robot handle that situation? Because someone would have to tell them what to do in that situation.
And that's the thing.
And if you think about it, the person that's commanding the robot somewhat has so much control over our planet.
That's the whole thing.
Like, so much control. Because the person behind all these commands controls all the robots.
Yeah.
Like
now you're seeing it.
He controlled one robot, which might have given someone else to control a robot the idea, like, oh, that's a good idea. Mm-hmm. So it's like this chain reaction.
So there's my question. Who decides what the robot decides? Well, but people are. They are in we're doing that right now. And so you like to think there's oversight and of all of these things, but there's not in this AI field. It advanced too fast. Uh-huh. So there's people now who have the capacity, like they have the ability to create an AI system that can do really advanced things. Mm-hmm. But that's why I'm keeping it to, because then we get into like a Bond villain kind of thing, right? Like in somebody's twirling their mustache and thinking about how they're going to take over the world, which... like whatever nightmare you pick. But the reality in this moment, exactly, like some dude in the White House touching his fingertips together in a weird black coat with his, So the reality, though, like keeping it in a real world happening today scenario is a car. So cars are being run by the robot. Like there's not just Teslas, like there's all kinds of different cars, or more and more quickly the robot is the computer is taking over the management of the car systems. And in general, I think that the robot is going to make way better decisions than the average human. So cars are a good example because they're actually being controlled right now by the machine, by the computer. Who decides what the robot decides? This is the crux of it, of the discussion for me, is like there are decisions that are being made now, and there are more and more decisions that are going to be made by a computer, by AI, by a system that's been programmed. The only other thing would be if the system self-programs itself, you know, and that's a whole other horror. So even in that scenario, where if the AI can become, you know, get general intelligence, then it's still how does it know? How does it know to choose between, like going to the original example, a dog and a person pushing a baby carriage? How the robot has no. The computer, what would it look for in value there? What would it make? What decision would it make? You would think it would make a decision to just preserve itself, to preserve the machine that it's in, because that would, I don't know what other purpose it would have. So it's going to choose whatever does the least damage to itself, I suppose.
It's just weird to think that someone is behind all of it.
Yeah, it's super frightening, man.
Yeah.
Like the point you made earlier that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that whoever's behind the robots and what they decide should be careful with what they program the robot to do, because they have a lot of power over our Earth and our planet.
Yeah, and you know, in this moment in history, I'm not entirely comfortable that the people in these positions are careful about very much.
Yeah.
So we're once again relying a lot on luck.
Yeah, we are.
On the vagaries of some nebulous concept of what might or might not happen.
Yeah.
Good luck with that, man. All right, so we're wrapping that up. Yeah. All right, you're on the spot. What are the 3 most important qualities in a true best friend? I don't mean, you know, I mean like in a real lifelong, this is somebody who's always going to have my back friend.
I need to be able to trust them.
Huge. Trust is huge.
That's like my number one thing in a friendship. I need to be able to trust them.
Agreed.
I need to be able to I need to know that I can talk to them with complete confidentiality. I don't know if that's a word, but
yeah, for sure.
Okay. I need to be able to trust them with all of my heart.
100%. Like you already know the value of that. Even at your less than advanced age, you've already felt the sting of trust
being broken.
Yeah. And it's definitely, it's everything. If you don't trust somebody, then you have nothing. I couldn't agree more. That's definitely number 1 on my list too.
They need to be able to make me laugh. I don't care. Like I don't care if we have similar personalities or similar humors. They just need to make me laugh.
I feel like if you, and I agree with you too, if you make somebody laugh or somebody makes you laugh, you probably have similar personalities, don't you?
Sure,
like
for
it's such a specific thing, a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Although I have come across people in my life that made me laugh that I was like, I wish I wasn't laughing because you're such a goof. But that was funny.
That was,
You're really funny.
Yep.
You're a funny goof.
And then I need to be able to have fun with them. But loyalty. Loyalty would be the last thing. But that kind of ties into trust too.
And the fun kind of sense of humor. Because, like a really, I know mine.
What's yours? Well, let me finish mine first.
All right. Well, you think I have one. All right, no, I have one. You ponder yours because lots of times you have to wait for me while I ponder.
All right.
I have one. Honesty, like that for me is that's it. Like that's for me number 1. For me, it's honesty, trust, and then I like the sense of humor.
Trust. I need to trust that they will tell the truth to me.
No, I know, but.
No? Okay.
No, that's like you can put them together if you want. I totally see the point you're making, but for me, I would put honesty. Everything has to be honest. Like it has to be the truth. You know, I can't function.
Oh, I have one.
A relationship doesn't function properly if you're not telling the truth.
This is my last one on the list, but still, it's pretty important to me. They need to have their own opinions with me. Because I can't have a friendship if they're constantly either parroting what I think or parroting what someone else thinks.
Yeah.
I don't like that kind of stuff. I need to have a friend who will tell me, like, what are you talking about? Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I need a friend who will tell me when I'm in the wrong and when I'm in the right, but when I'm actually in the wrong and when I'm in the right.
Yeah, no, that's honesty.
Yeah, okay, then honesty.
Right? That's honesty.
I need honesty.
No, I think
friend.
you're right, though. Honesty and trust go together, too, for sure. Like, if somebody's dishonest, it's impossible to trust them.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's honestly...
No, that's huge, that one. Like, you definitely want... A friend should... That's... What's the point otherwise? Like, anybody that you're in a relationship with that's real and lifelong and true... they're the ones you're relying on to say, hey man, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like that's a clown move.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and that also gives value when they're the person when they say to you, whoa, that was amazing, you did really well there, or that was so cool what you just did there, and you're like, all right, thanks man. It means something because you know that they'll tell you when it's trash too.
So yeah, trust, humor, and honesty, I guess. Yeah. But in the longer terms, have your own decision or have your own opinions, and so I guess honesty.
No, I mean, but yeah, we're just talking like that's just was the way to say three things, right? Now, it's more the discussion about what's valuable in a friend, a real friend, and those are all good things like honesty, trust, sense of humor, believing that they'll tell you the truth.
Well, I can't hang out with you if you're just parroting what other people say.
But there's so much of the world is that now with social
sometimes.
Media and everything. You can't help it.
Everyone does it sometimes.
You can't help it.
I mean, if you really think about it, if your opinions about politics, your opinions about basically everything are all kind of made because of the things you hear from other people.
Very much so. So it doesn't matter how intelligent you are. At the end, you are disseminating information you get and then having an opinion, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is the echo chamber thing. You know that expression, echo chamber? And
when they just completely say what you're saying.
Yeah, like you just stay in your little bubble and hear your things and repeat them back.
I don't want to feel like I'm...
Oops.
Yeah. I don't want to feel like I'm hanging out with myself. I like it when... Yeah.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Like, I want to hang out with someone different.
Uh-huh.
Like someone that knows how to be themselves and knows how to have their own opinions.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing.
I couldn't agree more. I want to put on the list smart, right? Intelligence. It's just that's a relative thing. Like I know people who are super book smart who have nothing interesting to say, and other people who would be considered, less book smart, but who everything they say is brilliant because it's just so rooted in all of those other things like truth and honesty and humor. So I think that if smart is defined as somebody who asks questions and can form their own opinions about things, then I'm calling smart as a key quality too in a friend, because you like you say, somebody that has opinions, that's not afraid to express them, and who doesn't feel the endless need to just parrot things they've heard that they think sounded good.
When you're with someone and you're talking about something and they'll slam on something and be like, oh, I hate that movie, and you're like, really? I really liked it. And they're like, yeah, no, I only hated a few parts of it. Like I actually liked how like half the movie. The other part I just like was all right.
Which half?
Yeah. So it's
it's
complicated, because then it's like, well, we can't even have a real conversation because you're just agreeing with everything I say.
Yeah, it's completely useless.
Sometimes I'll test it on purpose. I'll be like, so, what do you think about this? Just to make them... Although, on that topic, you know what I find really annoying? When I tell someone, like, oh, I love this show. And they're like, oh, yeah? What's the main character's middle name, huh? It's like, buddy, I don't know. Yeah. All I said was I like the show.
Yeah.
That's all I said.
Completely drains all the fun out of it.
I don't know the dog's puppy's name. Like, don't ask me that. like ask me the plot of the show, I'll tell you that. But
or what feelings did it engender in you, or like what did you think about it?
Yeah, but no, I can't tell you what the neighbor's girlfriend's name is.
No, what color was the roof of their house?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
So
what do we have? Okay, so lifelong friend, real friend, true friend, trust.
Number 1. Number 2, humor.
Or just even a list.
Yeah, but I'm just going.
All right.
And number 3, you need to have your own opinion. And like a sub
Yeah.
would be honesty. But I'm just kind of tying in honesty with trust.
For sure.
If I don't trust you, it's because you're not honest with me.
For sure.
So.
Yeah. So for me, I would have to say honesty, sense of humor, and intelligence.
Okay, perfect.
Whatever that,
intelligence is a big one,
vast swath of things that can be considered intelligent.
I don't even need you to be a super genius. I just need you to have some understandings.
No, I've had very good relationships with dogs that I considered intelligent.
Yeah.
But like it's relative.
For a second, I thought you were gonna say I've had really good conversations with dogs that I found intelligent.
I don't find them to be good conversationalists.
No, me neither.
I think they're very lacking when it comes to a good chat.
Yeah, they are. All right, good conversation.
All right, so
now you have a rant coming up?
No, not a rant. This is more of the hear me out lines. Your original intention, less a rant and more that. I was thinking, I don't know why this popped into my head, but it did, and so here we go. There should be more weird instruments in bands.
Okay, yeah, like
not just drums, guitar, bass guitar,
like
and
this thing, and
exactly like a flute or some people.
Or that Australian instrument.
The didgeridoo.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would be limited in what it could do, but maybe you could do something cool with it.
Yeah, just like a little didgeridoo solo or something,
There was a band way back in the day, Jethro Tull, and that guy, they were super theatrical, and he played a flute, like an electric flute. Yeah, and it was a rock band. It was very theatrical, I think it was probably in the 70s. And
that's cool.
It was cool. Like things like that are cool. Like when I see videos of things that somebody's doing something and I'm like, whoa, all right, that's completely not normal.
Yeah. Okay, I like that.
Like I guess this is the rant part then, I suppose, is how just the same everything is becoming.
Yeah, like here in Mexico, banda, you have the trombone. Or what?
Well, they definitely take to an extreme to throw in whatever instrument you want.
Yeah, but
I mean, they use the accordion.
The accordion. Oh, I love the
tuba.
Accordion. The tuba.
Yeah.
But it's the same instrument in every banda band.
That's the thing. Like it's if you throw an accordion into Led Zeppelin, then like okay, now that's different.
But or the tuba in AC/DC.
Yeah. But you put it into a banda, and it's like it'd be more like in the banda if they would bring in
acoustic guitar. Oh no.
Just like I don't know what, like some metal licks or something.
Or good vocals.
Oh, okay. No, okay. Wow, you definitely take that back.
I take it back.
Although in
no, I don't.
But but now we're getting into a different thing. We can't be sitting here slagging banda, as tempting as it is at times. But because when it's good, it's fun and
amazing,
it's awesome. Yeah, it's just that every sort of, again, the community, Mexico, the awesomeness of Mexico is the community, and so every community, as well as having a papeleria and a ferreteria, tend to have
your local
a banda band.
Yeah.
And they're let's say flexible in their membership.
Yeah.
So if you to qualify, often what you need to do is
you need to learn
show
a few
up
songs
for the
in
gig.
Spanish.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
But yeah, the
or
idea
know how to read it off your phone.
The idea that you could have just the idea of more variety, like more people taking chances and trying to do something weird and cool.
Different.
Like you've just been introduced to recently to the Icelandic Bjork.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Like, she's completely off the charts. Just
so weird.
Right out there in weird field. And it's awesome. It's awesome because she's completely doing her own thing. And I mean, she's a great singer and the writing and everything else. But it's what makes her, to me, special is just how unique she is. How that she's bringing this thing that's different to it. Matters today, we were talking about the Eurythmics. He had that song "Sweet Dreams" stuck in his head, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, they're one-hit wonders," and I'm like, "No, dude, they weren't one-hit wonders at all. The Eurythmics were awesome.
Yeah.
Like, they were all freaking awesome, and the reason they were is because they were different. It was this really cool woman who could sing, and this weird eclectic musician.
Weren't they siblings, or am I tripping?
No, I think they might have been married. I'm not even sure about that, if they were in a relationship.
I'm thinking of the White Stripes.
It was her and this one guy, and they didn't do anything like you were supposed to.
Right.
And so they ended up creating this completely unique, cool sound.
Which
because
is awesome.
They brought different instruments. Like, she brought a different way of singing, and I miss that. I miss
too.
that it doesn't that TikTok and Instagram and
That's why it's
YouTube.
great when you get someone like Lana. I was about to say that in a Mexican accent. Isn't that cool?
Oh yeah.
When you get someone like Lana Del Rey who sings differently. Like, you can't. There's no one that sings like Lana Del Rey.
Yeah, it makes it. That's the difference is what makes
People
it
are like,
special
"Oh, she's a terrible
to me.
singer." No, buddy, you have terrible hearing.
Well,
That's what's wrong with you.
You're also a stan.
I'm not a stan.
You're a stan. You're a Lana Del Rey stan. 100%, man. 100%.
Loud and proud.
Yeah, no, but it's a good example, and I'm sure that there's people would say, and people would tell us, like, "Oh, you should check this band out. You should check that band
Which
out."
please do if you have any recommendations.
Of course. I'm sure on YouTube there's thousands upon thousands of videos of really cool people doing exactly what I'm talking about. But why aren't they
bigger
being pushed? And a lot of times it'll be because they're no good, but some of them will be. Some of them will be brilliant, and I don't know if there's enough room for that anymore. Like, it just doesn't.
There isn't.
It doesn't.
Which is sad.
It doesn't seem to be the thing that we collectively agree on. We seem to collectively want to agree on sameness.
Yeah.
So that was my thing. It was just about. I wish there was more unique things in music, and what got me thinking about that was getting some weird instruments going. So there you go, Irish.
We have a couple weird instruments in this house. Different instruments.
Different, yeah, like that flute from Spring from BC. That thing's crazy cool.
I made it myself. Just kidding. I wasn't even alive.
But I saw the tree that was made from. It was a felled tree, felled in a storm, and he just kept collecting the cedar from the tree for those flutes, and they're North American Indian flutes. That's an F flute. Like, that's really cool. And the guy was Carlos Nakai.
Shout out.
Yeah, I love Carlos Nakai, and I heard him playing, and I was like, man, this is the most peaceful, meditative music ever. And that's exactly, like, it's just an instrument that's not
different,
normal.
unknown.
Or what? Not normal, but yeah.
Different.
Yeah, it's a brilliant instrument.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, there's all kinds of them that can be brought forward, right? The world's full of cool, weird instruments from different cultures.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see more of them.
Yeah, it would.
And it would be cool to see, like, if Zeppelin had of.
Yeah. That would have been cool. Brought out, like, the violin. Oh, that would have been so cool if they brought out, like, a rock violin mid-song.
Jimmy Page used to make some weird noises using a violin bow.
Oh.
He's yeah.
Never mind
he
then.
was very much, he would be totally on board with what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Very much so. There was a guy too, I've seen, he's Jean-Luc Ponte. I think he played an electric violin.
Told me about him.
Very cool. Very different. Really cool. Like an electric violin, just what it sounds like.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
It is. It's nice to see things that aren't the same as everything you normally see. For sure.
Thank you for that. That was a good one.
There you go, Irish.
Yeah, that was a good rant.
You're-
Well, it wasn't really a rant. It was definitely more of a hear me out.
It was more of a cry for music.
Yeah. But for our tens of viewers out there, go ahead and if you have any interesting band recommendations that we should listen to.
They might be getting into the 20s.
Yeah. Then you should definitely go ahead and comment them so we can look at them.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would be awesome.
All right. Are we wrapping up here?
Yes, we are. I love you.
I love you.
Next time.
Mm-hmm. Next time, indeed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, wow. Nobody
love
can
you.
see you're doing like weird villain faces. Mm-hmm. I love you too. Yes.